Wilder Show podcast. I'm Scott. That's Lauren.
Hello.
Hi, Lauren. How are you today?
I'm okay. How are you?
Okay. How about that rain?
It was really nice.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in a second. Wilder Show podcast. Find us on Instagram. Wilder Show Pod is what you'll search for. And when you find it, you'll like us and share it and all those things. Email podcast@wildershow.com. It's podcast@wildershow.com. The Wilder Show podcast drops Tuesdays and Fridays, 6 a.m. Central Time or before on Spotify, Apple Podcast, iHeart, Amazon, YouTube, wherever you get your podcasts. So please do like, rate, follow, subscribe, and share. And we appreciate that. The rain. Got a lot of rain.
What does your rain gauge say?
The rain gauge says...
I have an informal way of measuring it, but I want to know first what the rain gauge says.
I see. Over the weekend, I think I had 2.3 inches of rain. And then on Sunday into Monday, had another 1.4 inches of rain. So I got about 4 inches of rain.
Yeah. I've had about 17 muddy paws and a possum on the fence outside, which usually happens after the rain. It is so creepy too. It was in the dark, let the dog out one last time at night, and you see something on the fence that like a lump on the fence that doesn't really belong there. But it's really, really still, and it's kind of too dark I don't want to go near it.
No.
So I get the dog in and take a flashlight out there and just shine the flashlight, and you see those two little bright beady eyes. So creepy.
Sick.
So they're good. They're good for nature, though, right? Don't they eat something or do something that they take care of? Something. I hope they do.
Yeah.
I mean, because I don't have a lot of love for them.
I don't have one of those sprinkler systems. I was thinking, here we are with high temperatures in the 80s. I know it's going to get a little warmer before the end of the week, but 80s. Yeah. And only had to water a couple of times all summer.
I have not watered even one time.
See, and
I've watered
your
the
lawn
flowers
still
in the
looks
pots,
good.
but yeah, there are a couple of places where the sun shines a little bit more during the day than the other places that are a little more shaded, but that are kind of dry. But yeah, I've made the whole summer, which I don't think has ever been the case in the whole time I've been responsible for a yard, which is a long time.
It's a big deal for me that we didn't have to water.
Yeah, I don't either. There's a lot of dragon hoses around and finding just the right place.
But the thing is with those automatic things, to me, and I probably should have one, but those automatic sprinkler systems, it's just another monster to feed.
It is. It's another timer to set. It's
another thing to monitor.
Another thing to break.
Another thing to break. Another thing to monitor. And I am enough for me to monitor. That's enough.
Taking care of your broken parts is a full-time job.
Full-time. Okay, let's do a little Trump dump real quick and talk about the president. I'm going to talk about the president, the incredible shrinking governor, and you want to make $1 million?
Do I want to?
Do you want $1 million idea? All you have to do is listen to us, and who knows? We may be able to be giving you in this podcast $1 million idea.
Does that? Could I take it maybe and run with it too?
Well, I don't know what it's going to be. There is another example of one of those things that we've talked before about. We said something out loud and someone took it and made it into that item, or patented it, or whatever. There is something we talked about a long time ago on the radio Wilder Show, and I found out this weekend that it has been developed.
Somebody took it and ran with it,
and it is a home run. It made sense when we talked about it back then, and it's a law enforcement thing.
Oh, so it's not the little baby dustbuster.
No.
Okay.
And it's not the...
That's still out there for the taking.
Not the skull bandits. That's gone. No. But it's a law enforcement thing, and it was, in all humility, it was a great idea back then. Somebody took it, made $1 trillion, and I'm very happy they did. And the world will be safer, not just one person richer, all because someone, in my mind,
yeah,
was listening and took this idea and went and made a bunch of money.
It's fantastic.
So you never know.
Right.
It could be anything at all. I'm not even sure I would know what it is we would share that would be a good idea. Clearly, I don't. But that's coming up. So let's talk a little bit about, Pritzker is the governor in Illinois.
Yes.
Do you know him visually? Do you know what he looks like?
I've seen him over the last few days. I've seen him along with a couple of stories.
Have you noticed anything about him over the last few days?
Well, I'm wondering now if what you just said ties into that. I think I've only seen him like from shoulders up. Mm-hmm. So not necessarily. I've not noticed any change
well,
there.
We'll get to that in a second. Gavin Newsom is fear-mongering about President Trump. I mean, I guess.
Do we file this under Gavin Newsom wants to be president?
We do.
Yeah.
And of course, if you want to be afraid of President Trump, you don't need somebody making up anything, probably. But Gavin Newsom is saying, hey, President Trump, he doesn't want another election. He is going to stay as president. Now, I think that is complete nonsense.
Yeah.
It's a complete fantasy.
Yeah.
I think Gavin Newsom has just, he's trying to out-Trump Trump, which we've talked about before. Mm-hmm. But the quote is, I don't think Donald Trump wants another election. He's warning the country that the country is on the precipice of tipping into authoritarianism, predicts Donald Trump does not want to leave office after his term ends, and he's accusing the federal immigration officials of acting, quote, as the largest private police force in history. That last part is a whole separate thing, and we'll get to that in a second.
Okay.
Donald Trump, assuming Donald Trump finishes his term, and there are lots of reasons why someone might not finish their term. You have impeachment things, you have a removal from office, you have resigning from office, you have all manner of things. So who knows whether he will even, be the president all the way through this term. But if he is, there is no way he is going to try and stay as president of the United States. That's not going to happen.
Yeah.
But Gavin Newsom wants to scare people into believing that it could happen, because then he gets to be the anti-Trump, which is what he wants to do. Uh-huh. He wants to be the anti-Trump.
Yeah.
I'm the best defense. I'm your best defense against Donald Trump staying.
Do you think that he is putting himself in the position of, like, he's somehow going to keep that from happening? What does he really, what kind of power does he have to keep that from happening?
Well, if he were the Democratic nominee, if he has all this power that he's built up, in theory, even if Donald Trump sought to run again, and I know he's saying he doesn't want another election, but if he sought to run again, Gavin Newsom would be there, according to his fantasy, to be there to stop and save the country from Donald Trump.
Okay,
but it's not what. Look, it's not.
Don't we? We have bigger problems if the president decides he's going to run again, which by law he's not allowed to run again.
Constitution, yeah.
So we have. I mean, we're going to run into some big problems before we even get to that election that Gavin Newsom is predicting he doesn't even want, because he's going to just declare himself president for a third term.
Yeah,
that's what Gavin Newsom is suggesting. So is it, and what do I know? Is it just, he's just trying to keep himself out there? There's really nothing to talk about right now. I'm going to talk about this.
Well, and the thing is, California, there are all kinds of things we could be talking about California.
Well, there's nothing that he really wants to talk about. So he's going to talk about this.
That's the point.
Yeah.
And so Gavin Newsom wants to be president. This falls into that. But so does Governor Pritzker want to be president.
Okay.
Now, Donald Trump, off the successes, and they were successes, we talked about them, in Washington, D.C., National Guard, greater police and law enforcement presence, 87% decrease in carjacking. We told you all those statistics last time. I mean, a tremendous success.
Sure.
Even the mayor, the Democratic mayor of D.C., it's not even reluctantly concedes She concedes.
Sure.
We're happy for it. We're glad for it. It has made our district safer. Now, Donald Trump thinks he's going to take that to cities now.
Mm-hmm.
Cities are different from the District of Columbia. District of Columbia doesn't have a state, which means it doesn't have a governor. What are the rules that govern whether a president can send the National Guard into, and there are, we've talked a little bit about those. Should we have National Guard troops on the ground in Chicago? I think I read over you have to look it up, but you can look up it real quick if you want to. The number of shootings in people that were shot in Chicago over the weekend it was like 20 people. 4 died and 20 people were shot. We don't even pay attention to it anymore. So what Donald Trump is saying is, hey, we're going to come in there. We're going to clean up that one too. We're going to clean up some other city, clean up Baltimore.
53 shot over the weekend.
Unbelievable.
7 dead.
And it doesn't even make the news. Let me put a pin in this for a second and just say, I understand the frustration that you have a white Christian school and 2 die, and it is a national news story. I got it. And you have Chicago with how many people shot?
53? 53 people have been shot, 7 fatally across Chicago over Labor Day weekend.
Unbelievable. And it doesn't even make the news. It doesn't make the news because it is not news. It happens all the time. It doesn't make the news when the planes land safely.
Mm-hmm.
They almost always do.
We expect that.
Well, sure. Every day, almost every time. We don't cover things that aren't news. Sadly, it is not news that people are killing each other in Chicago. What President Trump is saying is we want to bring some law and order there. Democrats say, no, we're not against your help. We want your help. But the way we want you to help us is to give us money. Give us money so we can have more, and I'm not kidding, I'm not making this up, so we can have more basketball programs for after school to keep the youth busy. More programs that are, quote, anti-crime programs. Give us the money so that we can do what really works best for our society. You've had the money. You've had the chance to do it. And 53 people were shot, 7 died over Labor Day weekend. How's that going? Because so many times, liberals, we talked about it 1,000 times, liberalism's success is not measured by success. It is measured by whether you tried, what you wanted to do. We cared. Give us more money. During the Biden years, it wasn't about keeping illegals out or removing illegals that were in the country. It was about how many Border Patrol agents there were, how much money we sent to the border. The money you send to the border, the number of Humvees you have and drones you have and people on the ground, boots on, don't matter if they don't do the job. It's not about how much money you put toward it. Obviously, you can't get it done if you don't have money, but having the money doesn't mean you're going to use it in the way to get it done. And so Chicago, Illinois, Pritzker, governor of Illinois, says, we don't want it. We don't want your help the way you're giving it. We don't find that helpful. What we find helpful is give us the money and then we'll do something. No, we're not giving. We're done with that. We're done with giving you money. If you want it fixed, we have ways of getting it fixed. Listen to the liberal mayor, the liberal Democrat mayor of D.C. Maybe listen to her. They don't want to listen to her now. Now, she may change her tune over time because sometimes people do.
Sure.
After they initially give the credit, they're then beaten into submission.
That's what I was going to say. After they've been beaten into submission.
By the other liberals, they go, well, what I meant to say was. But the truth is, what's going on in D.C. Now, I don't think, I'm a little nervous about it happening with obviously no military, but National Guard even. I'm a little nervous about that. Just declaring an emergency. The president can declare an emergency, bring in the National Guard, even if it's not invited, and maintain order. For example, if there were an attack on a national landmark, federal land, it's a federal issue. And now, obviously, that federal land is in a state, but it's a federal issue. So the president can say, we're bringing in the National Guard to protect this site. So Pritzker is getting his Gavin Newsom on, and he's going to run for president. Pritzker is going to run for president. You know how I know that?
How?
because he is the incredible shrinking governor. He's a very large individual from a stature standpoint.
Yeah. It's so funny because I had just told you that I hadn't seen him from the neck down. Mm-hmm. And as we're recording, my laptop is over here to my left, and there's a live video of a news conference of Governor Pritzker. So now I can see him. I can see him down to chest, like elbow level or so.
He's doing it, I believe, because he has a greater chance of becoming president.
If he's slender, if he looks a little more fit.
I mean, more than he did. I mean, it's like, think of Chris Christie in the old and bigger Chris Christie days.
Yeah.
It just seems like maybe not. I mean, maybe,
I think plenty of people would tell you that as a society, we have biases against people who don't look maybe, from through our eyes as though they're taking care of themselves. Yeah.
The president is, as I say this, I think of Donald Trump, and it makes me think, well, maybe I should rethink this. The president, whoever the president is sort of our front man, sort of the face of who we are.
Yeah.
And, in FDR, we had a president that could not walk.
Right.
Now, we didn't know that at the time. The visual is so much more important today than it ever has been. I don't think, for example, I hate to say this, okay? I don't think we're going to have a president that doesn't have hair. Now, to go back to our great presidents, I mean, Harry Truman didn't have a full head of hair.
Yeah.
Eisenhower didn't have a full head of hair. There were many that didn't.
It's so much easier now for a guy to get a full head of hair, whether he has one or not. I'm not even talking, if you spend just 5 minutes looking at pictures of actors who are our age or older, and they have this full head of hair, and it doesn't even look like it's a fake head of hair. And now, because if you got enough money, you can get hair. Yeah. You can get hair planted in there. And
harder probably to do that than just lose a few pounds. I mean, that would sort of hear the old pictures of so-and-so, hear the new ones with his new hairdo or whatever. Yeah. But anyway, Pritzker is going to run for I say he's gearing up for a run for president.
So you're saying he weighs less now than he did?
Oh,
I got to look at some pictures and catch up on this. Yeah. I'm watch this video still rolling here. And we used to talk, I mean, years ago when we first moved to Texas, my mom and my dad and my sister and I moved to Texas. It wouldn't be unusual for many years after that. You'd see somebody and you'd say, here's the face of Chicago.
Really?
Yeah. And it doesn't necessarily mean they were from Chicago. It was a little bit more of an Eastern European ethnic sort of face. This guy Pritzker, he has a face. He has the face of Chicago.
Is he really?
Yeah.
I've said that before about people that you see people that this sounds so bad. They look foreign. They have that Eastern European look.
Yeah.
Because of the places where I've been. I've been with you before, and I said that person is from fill in the blank, and it turns out they were.
Yeah. I don't think all of us are that interesting. You might have an ethnic background. I mean, Governor Pritzker's people may have been in America longer than my own people have been in America. I don't know that anybody would look at me and say she is the face of Chicago. I don't think I'm that interesting, but he has an interesting face.
President Trump slammed Pritzker, JB, as weak and pathetic. I hate when he calls names. I really hate that. On Saturday, warning that he'll deploy federal troops in Chicago if the Democratic governor of Illinois doesn't get the violence under control. Okay, so a piece in Politico writes this. Governor J.B. Pritzker doesn't look quite the same on the campaign trail these days. His pants hang loose. His jacket buttons no longer strain. The Democrat, known for his barrel-shaped frame, cutting a noticeably trimmer silhouette in his bid for a third term. How about just for health, Pritzker said, when Politico asked him about his weight loss. And that's got to be tough. Yeah. I mean, to have people, you're a visible person. Everybody sees everything. You gain weight, they see it. You lose weight, they see it. Anyway, he's running for a third term as governor. I believe it's for more than that, but we'll see. And no matter what, good for him for, being more, if losing weight means he's more healthy, then good for him.
And it's not an easy thing to do.
No.
So kudos to him for that.
I'll give you the $1 million idea story in a second. But we should pause for a second, Lauren, and just say, last week, we were in Minneapolis when that school shooting happened.
We were.
I mean,
we were really nearby.
Close. Really close to what happened. And it was obviously a shock everywhere. But, man, it was all people there, obviously, were talking about or thinking about.
Right.
We did actually also drive by the church, not to gawk at all. We didn't get out of the car or anything like that, but it was we were so close.
There's something about that. I don't know how to, it's going to sound kind of weird. Did you feel almost sort of, we were fewer than 10 miles away from where it happened for the work that we were there to do. It almost felt like being drawn to it, not out of a curiosity kind of thing, but out of a desire to
be present,
honor the space somehow, to be there nearby and pray. I mean, it was not like anything I'd ever experienced before.
It was a really weird thing. It was a work thing, and the night that it happened, wasn't possible to go be part of the prayer vigil. But I thought of that at the end of that day, and I thought, man, that would have been really good to go.
Yeah, and
just stand there and pray. And didn't have the chance to do it. And then the next day, drove by and people everywhere,
which surprised me a little bit. There was a large part of the land that was, the land that the church sat on, a neighborhood church.
It's a neighborhood church.
Not on a giant parcel of land with parking all around it, which is, what we typically
think of as church.
That
really surprised me. I was like, okay, wait a minute. It can't be right here. This is a neighborhood.
Yeah.
And then you pull around the corner and boom, there's a church. I mean, there were homes.
You could throw a rock at
right across the street.
Yeah.
Right across the street.
Across the street and next to and behind and businesses,
it was right there in the middle
bordering it on one side. And there was a large part of it that was off limits with crime scene tape. But then there was a lot of it too. The steps of the church, a lot of people had, brought flowers, and there were people walking around. And I was kind of surprised by how close we were able to be to it.
Yeah, I did sort of want to get out. Didn't, but I thought it might be good to get out and just stand there and see it and pray and all that. But I didn't, just kind of drove and, drove slowly around it. And it was really something to be in the place. What I mean to say is the city where it happened. It was huge. And of course, there's still news that is coming out, I guess, even now, and maybe more will come out, but obviously sad. And we talked about it last week, but didn't tell you that we were right there.
Another thing that struck me about it, and I think we talked about this on the day, we were so close by and obviously affected by it, as I'm sure everyone, the whole country. But to be so close by and to see life carrying on less than 10 miles away, as though nothing had happened. That's jarring.
It is
too.
Is to walk out of the grocery store and go, forgot yogurt.
Yeah.
It's like, wait a minute. What?
Yeah.
Wait, what?
And to be at a restaurant that night, so nearby, full of people.
Yeah, just ordering their stuff.
And I don't know what I would expect.
I don't know.
But it's just jarring.
It was. Oh, it is time for Scattershoot.
Let's go.
Wilder Show Scattershoot. All right, Scott and Lauren. The $1 million idea. Can I share about that real quick?
Oh, yeah.
Let's start with that. there are things over the years, we've been on the radio for a long time, and you mention things and you think, you know what, this is a pretty good idea. Somebody ought to take this and run with it. Now, you never really want anybody to, because you don't want other people to be successful.
That's not true.
But
that's not true. I mean, most of the time, that's not true.
You share your ideas, and then you go, oh, man, that really was. We all probably have had that thing. Oh, I thought of that a long time ago. And somebody really, and many times it is that we thought of it probably after it was already in development. I mean, there are very few brand new ideas, but, it feels that way that you thought of something and somebody else sort of got it.
Or maybe you did think about it and you just didn't get off the couch.
That's right.
That'd be a really good idea.
That's true. That's true. But do you remember when, and I'm prompted to this by a story over the weekend, because of all the law enforcement in Washington, D.C.,
mm-hmm.
normal traffic stops, just a routine traffic stop, has become a weird deal now, because a routine traffic stop, especially if someone might not be in the country legally, could become the way you get jettisoned.
Gotcha. You mean if the police pull you over gotcha.
A routine traffic stop by law enforcement. And as a result of that, people have started driving away instead of pulling over.
Mm-hmm.
And that has resulted in an increase in car chases. And that has resulted in an increase in risk to people,
sure,
damage to property, innocent people in the way of either law enforcement's vehicles or the bad guys' vehicles. Do you remember a long, long time ago, and seriously, it was probably 20 years ago,
mm-hmm.
where I said, why don't they just put a GPS tracker on the car they're chasing,
mm-hmm.
and then back off?
Just let them go.
Let them go. Because then you can find them.
Yeah.
You know where they are,
mm-hmm.
but you're not chasing them. If the police back off, it's like, oh, I got away. Let them get away. Let them take that exit and you stay on. Once you have that tracker in place, let them get away and then back off. The risk to yourself as a law enforcement person, the risk to others, innocent people,
anyone who might be in the way of the person who's taken off. Yeah,
I mean, we've seen these things before. They always end up the same way. Either the person crashes and damages property and potentially hurts other people, or they end up giving up, running out of gas, and walking backwards slowly toward the police that are shouting, "Put your hands above your head, clasp, and walk backwards toward me." But what if we could come up with something that we could track the vehicle and do away with virtually all of the police chases?
Well, you'd have to be able to get close enough to the car to do that, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then it would have to be something that the person in the car that you were about to track was unaware of or
probably
couldn't remove. I mean, then really all they'd have to do is just get out of the car and run, I guess, if they knew that they were being tracked, right? So you'd want it to be a secret.
Well, let me introduce you to the $1 million idea.
Okay.
That came, we will claim it, that came from our conversation. Star Chase.
Star Chase.
It is a vehicle-mounted GPS launcher.
Wow.
It is on the front grille of law enforcement vehicles.
Car.
And you get up close enough to it and you fire it and it sticks on their car and it is virtually, you cannot remove it.
Oh, man.
And then you back off. Isn't that amazing?
It is.
So what happens is it's a vehicle mounted, picture it like, the old James Bond things where at the front of the car, he'd push a button and the little thing would pop up and a missile or whatever would come out. It's not a missile though. It's this thing. It's this little tracker. So the vehicle mounted GPS launcher can tag, track, and locate without compromising officer or community safety. It's unbelievable. It's a secure cloud technology and all that, real-time mapping. It's rugged. They have multiple ways you could do it, either mounted on the vehicle. They have a handheld like a little rifle. If you want to fire it off on the side of the car. Anyway, I just thought it was an amazing technology.
I wonder if
Star Chase technology. If you look up on YouTube, Star Chase Guardian VX.
Okay.
You won't believe the video you're going to see. It is pretty remarkable.
Can you feel it? Like if you're in a car that gets
you probably
shot with the little tracker, do you know that
maybe,
it's there?
But it looks like toilet paper when it's all done. You have a little cardboard thing. It looks like about half of that.
Okay.
So it's got a sticky thing and a magnet thing, and you fire it off. It sticks on the back of the car. And the thing is, a guy is trying to get away from the police. If a car is that close to you, you're probably not going to notice a weird sound.
Yeah.
The weird sound is the sirens are crazy loud and all this stuff, and just back off. But
and you're not going to stop and get out of the car and try to pull it off.
No. So there you go. 10,000 of these GPS tags have been deployed, actually more than that, and it has resulted in the recovery of over $150 million in assets.
Wow.
And it's currently being used even in White Settlement. I mean, here.
At least in White Settlement. The first video that I came across was from the White Settlement Police Department. And it's not brand new. It's about a year old, but it says that they were the first agency in North Texas to incorporate Star Chase GPS tracking as a tool for vehicle pursuits.
It's unbelievable.
It is.
It's a great technology, and it's going to save lives and save property. So anyway, listen carefully, kids, because we may share something. You go, you know what? I'm going to do that. Wilder's too lazy. I'll go do it.
For years and years and years, I've been talking about the fact that I think I could count since my children were born. So a long time ago, like more than 30 years ago.
Okay.
I think I could probably count on one hand the nights that I've slept through the night. Like with no waking up. I mean,
really?
I think I could count them on one hand and have some fingers left over.
That's amazing.
But I always thought it was, but apparently an unbroken night's sleep is a myth. We all wake up.
Sure.
We all wake up through the night. You don't necessarily wake up and get up, and it might not be insomnia, and you might not even remember the times that you're awake. But more often than not, we wake up a lot during the night. And the problem is really that we think we're supposed to fall asleep. As soon as, our head hits a good night's sleep is this. You get in bed, and as soon as your head hits the pillow, you fall asleep quickly. You stay asleep all night long, and then after 8 hours, you wake up and you pop out of bed, after a great 8 hours of restorative sleep. I know you like your restorative sleep.
I do.
And then you feel great all day, and you don't ever have a need for a nap or anything like that. But that, it turns out, is really, it's a myth.
All right, a couple of questions. If you had uninterrupted sleep for, let's say, 8 hours, that would mean that you never even adjusted your body position. So I would guess that part of uninterrupted, an interruption could be even changing your position, which would make it make sense that almost no one ever has, or that it is a myth to have uninterrupted sleep, because you don't, we say that we shift our position in our sleep, but we probably don't. We're probably rallied a bit. If you looked at the brain waves and whatnot, you would probably see, oh, there he is. That's when he rolled over. Sleep study people would know. I don't know, but we rarely fall asleep and then stay in that one position. It probably wouldn't be good to stay in that one position for like 8 hours.
That's a good point. And I think when I've complained of not ever sleeping through the night for such a very long time, it wasn't that I was just aware of changing positions. It was that I was really awake. I would either, a lot of times it was wake. For a long period of time, we had a dog that had to get up to go outside in the middle of the night every night. And while there were, several teenagers in the house, he never woke up the teenagers to go out. He always, he knew where mom was. Yeah. So I woke up to let the dog out. Or for a long time, it's when you have little kids and your little kids are waking up in the middle of the night. But then even after that, even after those things were gone and the kids were all sleeping through the night and any dogs that were here were sleeping through the night, I would still wake up and I'd be awake for a little while, sometimes longer than other times. And I know there are a lot of reasons for that, but I just felt like I was awake and I was aware of being awake. It wasn't just to roll over and fall back asleep. I was aware of being awake.
Are we really talking about waking up, or are we really talking about the inability or the difficulty to quickly go back to sleep?
Well, that's part of it too. I mean, certainly during the times that I was waking up and able to fall right back asleep, it wasn't as big a deal. The insomnia that you might suffer when you are, when you do awake, that's much more troublesome. But as an adult, it is natural for our sleep to move through different cycles, and those different cycles might cause, brief awakenings during the night. Your sleep cycles last for roughly 90 minutes each. We start with the lighter sleep, then we might move into deeper sleep, and then the REM sleep, the rapid eye movement sleep. That's usually when people have their most vivid dreams. And then you're supposed to get your best sleep during the first half of the night. That REM sleep, when you dream, that's more common during the second half of the night. But it's not unusual at all for people to wake up in the middle of the night, to wake up between those sleep cycles. And I think I've thought I must not be sleeping as well as other people because I'm waking up so much more in the middle of the night. And if you're curious about what that really looks like, you could maybe wear a sleep tracker, wear a watch will tell. I do that too, but there can be a problem with that too. I can find myself sort of getting obsessed with how good my sleep was the night before. I'm really anxious to see how many times did I wake up? How long was my, how much deep sleep did I get? So if that is the case and you're looking at that the next day and you're thinking, well, I didn't sleep very well at all. Your body might, you might have gotten exactly as much sleep as you needed. You might have slept better than your watch is telling you that you slept, in which case that's not a good, you might be, it's like, a little bit of knowledge can be a bad thing. Sometimes that can be the case with the sleep tracker.
It's funny because between the two of us, I would think I would have been the one more obsessed with that kind of stuff. And I'm not, I do track it. I mainly track it in case something happens and I go, I wonder what that was. And then I'll go look at it.
And see,
I don't get up and go, hey, I wonder what did I do last night? Did I do better last night than the night before? What was restorative sleep? Although there's one thing that I have looked at that I find really fascinating. And it's a really odd statistic. And it's the number of breaths per minute while you're sleeping.
Yeah.
I have gotten a little competitive and I want it to be
competitive with yourself.
Yes.
Yeah.
To be as low as possible, but not zero.
Well, we should compare that.
What's my low?
Yeah. How many breaths are you taking?
I think I'm leading.
This is exactly, I think, what we're supposed to be doing with these sleep trackers too, like competing against each other for who's getting the better night's sleep.
Okay, I'm going to tell you.
Okay.
My record for low number of breaths per minute. Now, real quick, this sounds stupid to have to define it, but a breath is an inhale and an exhale.
So full inhale and exhale. What else would a breath be?
Well, no, I'm just saying because I say it because you can get a half reading. Right? I mean,
I guess
by the end of the,
yeah.
I'm telling you because my low, ready? Is 7.5 breaths a minute. That is so low.
So
I think that's not a good thing.
Mine is 14 to 19.
Yep. That's common. Well, no, my normal is 11. My normal is 11. But
so,
every now and then I want to take a look and say, because I'd like to get down, this is really stupid. I want to get down to 6. I
think there are probably better indicators of health that you could be looking for.
I want to get down to 6 because that's one every 10 seconds. I mean, I wouldn't want to go down to 4. That'd be one every 15 seconds.
That doesn't. I mean, that sounds dangerous.
Yeah, it's probably a sign of something really bad. Now, on the flip side, I can lie down and fall asleep in an instant.
Yeah.
Almost anywhere, almost any time.
With your head on a keyboard even, right?
Yeah. My buddy Bill, when he used to travel on some of these international trips and whatnot, and he would always say that, he had missed his window for sleeping. I said, window? He said, yeah, I missed my window. It's like, now I can't go to sleep because I missed my window. I said, I can fall asleep and I could. And he said it was, it was a blessing that he said, I can't believe you could do that, but you really could lie down. I'm on a stone floor in North Korea, and I can fall asleep in literally 30 seconds.
Well, there are other ways to determine whether or not you're getting good sleep, too. Yeah. Everybody always says 8 hours. That's not necessarily what everyone needs. Maybe between 7 and 9 hours of sleep, but it's really more than just the number of hours. It's about the quality. Yeah. Exactly. It's the quality of sleep that you're getting. Good sleep usually means that you can fall asleep within 30 minutes of getting into bed. Sleeping without waking up for long periods and waking up feeling rested. Now, there are some, like, you shouldn't be excessively sleepy during the day, especially if you're getting at least 7 hours of decent sleep a night. But sleep disorders are common. 25% of adults have insomnia, which the definition of that is that you really can't fall asleep within that 30 minutes. And when you do wake up in the middle of the night, you might be awake for much longer than you'd like. Okay. And that you might wake up earlier in the morning than you need to, like you were just saying, but you can't fall back asleep. So that is a problem. Also, sleep apnea. You know about that when if you might partially stop breathing during the night. I mean, I don't know.
7.5 a minute seems low.
It seems like maybe you're stopping breathing once or many times during the night. That increases with age too. 40% of people in middle age are affected by that. Yeah. And you know what, buddy? You and I are really not even in middle age anymore. But there are effective treatments for that, so you can get help for that. But a good way of knowing if waking up in the middle of the night is really a problem for you is thinking about how they affect you. If you're frustrated by it, if you're worried about it, if it's impacting how you feel and function during the day, there is help to get, and you should seek that for yourself. Labor Day weekend, we just celebrated Labor Day weekend, which means for most of us, a 4-day work week follows. Those long weekends might be closer to becoming a reality than we think. Most Americans feel like they're ready for a 4-day work week. Not just ready for a 4-day work week because they want more time off. 7 in 10 American workers say that they could do their jobs in 4 days instead of 5 without losing productivity.
You know, what if the boss said we could do that job with 4 employees, not 5?
But we'd like them here all 5 days a week.
I mean, I understand the desire for a 4-day work week. And a lot of schools have moved toward a 4-day school week.
Oh, there are schools right here in our North Texas area.
And so I understand that you might have the ability for that to work well together if you were to have a 4-day work week and your child were to have a 4-day school week. So long as the days matched up, that would be pretty nice. But I don't know. Are there statistics to tell us that really works? I know in some countries they are having 3-day work weeks. And
well, here's the thing that I think is kind of interesting. Millennials, 75% say they think they could get their work done in a 4-day week.
They also think they can fly.
Gen Z and Gen X, 70%. Fewer than half of baby boomers agree.
So those who have worked the longest have a different perspective from those who have worked the least.
Yeah, I'm right on you and I are at the tail end of the baby boomers. I'm on the last year of the baby boomers. Part of me looks at that and thinks, is that just one of those things where we think, well, this is the way we've always done it, so this is the way it always has to be?
I don't think so. I think part of it is some of the people that are in their 40s, 50s, and 60s or whatever, those people in the latter part of their working years, they perhaps have risen. They now are in charge of other people's productivity.
Yeah.
The people at the early part are only in charge of their own productivity. So the people at the top might say, look, it's a good idea. I understand the desire, but really it's going to take all 5 days. So sorry about that, kids. And you might have people at the lower end that go, but I really want to. I mean, I'm just saying, if experience matters at all, the people who have the most experience in the workplace are least likely to believe 5 days of work can get done in 4 days. And I assume, are they 4 10-hour days or are they 4 8-hour days? Are they really trimming it back, or are they just putting the hours? They're putting the hours in, and you do a 40-hour work week in 4 days, which would really be an 11-hour work day if you include an hour for lunch, which I don't think they really are saying.
Yeah.
I think they're just saying, I only want to work 8 to 5, my choice of 4 days, and I'll get it all done. Well, that not all work is like that. If you're a teller at the bank, you can't do the telling for Friday on Thursday.
Well,
you can't spread it out Monday through Thursday if you're a checker at the grocery store, or if you're a mechanic fixing a car. I think the 4-day work week, are they trying to get it all in 4 8-hour days, or 4 10-hour days?
Well, that's one of the things that I found kind of interesting about this. First of all, I think it has a lot to do with the kind of work that you do.
Sure.
And who are you working with? Are you working with other vendors who are still going to have a 5-day week? Because it's going to be really uncomfortable and inconvenient for them if they're looking for you on a Friday when you're not there. And most of them would prefer to have Friday off, by the way. They don't want Monday. Friday is more fun to have off. So let's shorten the week that way instead of, starting it on Tuesday instead of Monday. But I think I've noticed, the other work that you and I do, if those other people that we work with, when they're off on a Friday afternoon, it's easier for us to have a lighter Friday afternoon because you're not as concerned about who you might miss if you turn off your email.
I guess I think of radio real differently. I mean, we had people we worked together in radio a long time, and we had other people who would come in, managers, and they would come in, they would act like what time you had to be there, had to punch a clock, whatever. And I was like, dude, I don't work at a bank.
Yeah.
This is not a bank. So we will get all the work done, but we're going to be here sometimes way before you are here.
Yeah.
We're going to be here sometimes way after you are here. When you're sometimes at Thanksgiving, getting ready to have lunch with your family, we might be at the radio station working at 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. So we will get the work done. So in our work experience like that, it fits well with don't tie me down to the hours, tie me down to the work that has to get done.
Yeah.
But not every job even allows that possibility.
Well, this is another thing that I thought was kind of funny. So the demand for the 4-day work week, in large part, is being fueled by people who say they're working harder than last year. 52% say they're working harder than last year, with many putting in overtime daily or weekly. So if you're having a hard time getting it done in the 5 days that you're working now, how are you going to transition to a 4-day work week? That doesn't make a lot of sense. What am I missing?
Because they think they can fly. Just because I'd rather work. See, I think the thing is, at some point as a manager, the people at the other end, they are thinking about the work getting done.
Yeah.
And the people at the other end, maybe you just get your work life started. You're thinking about what you have to do.
Yeah.
But you're not primarily. If you're a person on the line, you're a person who's not thinking about getting the work done. You're thinking about what you want to do. You're not responsible for all the work getting done.
Yeah.
If you're a manager, a woman up here, a man up here, it is about getting the work done. What does it take to get the work done? As opposed to, would I prefer to work 4 days than 5?
Well, maybe what's missing in the middle here somewhere is they need more people to get the work done. There's a disconnect between saying I can get the work I'm doing now, I could get it done in 4 days a week. And so I think I'd like to just have Fridays off permanently, and saying I am overworked. I can't get everything done. I need to have a shorter week. Well, that's a people problem. That's a worker problem, right?
And companies are not inclined. I mean, I remember when in the olden times when only women got time off for having babies, you'd have a woman that took time off for maternity leave. So you took the time off, had the baby, took time off, and in the middle of it, you discovered, you know what? I think we can make it. I'm just going to stay home. But there was a 6-week period there where the company had to figure out, what are we going to do with the work that she normally does? Some companies, in the real olden times, they would hire a temp to do that work for 6 weeks.
If it was the kind of work that could be done like that, yeah.
Exactly. But many companies, I think, said, you know what? We're just going to spread the work out.
I think that happens all the time now.
You'll do some of this, and then what happens is, which seems like, okay, it's not a big deal, it's temporary, But then what happens when the woman decides, I'm going to stay home, and she resigns, and now the company says, hey, for 6 weeks, we've been getting all this work. We have been getting all this work done with one fewer employee. So that's one fewer person we have to pay. It's one fewer person we have to give benefits to.
I don't think you can necessarily blame maternity leaves for this problem. I think it happens everywhere. It's happening now with the people that we work with. You cut somebody loose because the purse strings are a little bit tight, and now somebody isn't, expected to do more work, the work of maybe 2 people or maybe now 3 people for the same amount of money that they were making before, and that's just kind of what we do.
In that world, it seems to me then that the millennials, or whoever the youngest ones who want 4 days, not 5, they're going to end up being surprised when management says, I think we're going to go with the people that don't mind working 5 days.
It's actually Gen Z, Gen X who are the youngest ones. But what is the prediction here is that as these younger generations move into leadership, the 4-day work week may soon shift from trend to expectation. So I don't know how they're going to get it done. Yeah. But as the bosses get younger, and the bosses are the ones who want the 4-day work week, we might see it happen.
I think it'll be exactly the opposite. As the Gen Zers become responsible for the work getting done, they're going to find that their loyalty is either to the entity or the work that is getting done as more than it is to the people that are doing it. They have a need to lead when it comes to getting the work done. So they may say this today. It's like the old thing where when you're young, if you're not a liberal, by the time you're 25, you have no heart. If you're not a conservative, by the time you're 35, you have no brain. My point is that as they get older, I think they're going to find that they will shift. And it's not even a matter of conservative versus liberal. It's just something that came to mind, that as we get older, things change. Yeah. Our attitudes about things change. Our attitude about work changes. As you become responsible for more than just yourself, as you are responsible to the company, for the people below you, the loyalty becomes not just to those people or even just to yourself. It becomes to the cause or to the company.
Remember when we learned about schadenfreude?
That is I'm going to mess up the definition, but is it something like when you take some sort of delight or pleasure in the misfortune of others?
Yeah. When we first talked about that on the radio, more than 2 decades ago, I bet. Yeah. I'm guessing it was closer to 25 years ago because I had a friend at the time who listened to us faithfully on the radio. And after she heard us talk about that, she called me the next day and she said, what was that thing that y'all were talking about, that long word? And I said, schadenfreude. And she said, yes. She said, I have that so bad.
You do. And, it's like if you were to look at somebody like, let's say you're just watching TV or something and somebody's really rich and famous. And let's do something really innocent. And they slip and fall in a puddle of mud. Yeah. You kind of giggle a little bit like, well,
feel pretty good about it.
Yeah, I feel pretty good. It makes me feel pretty good.
Yeah.
It's not a good way to be, but yeah.
Well, there's a German study that says old people, and I'm pretty sure we're included in this.
All right.
They call us oldsters. There's not really an age cutoff, but I know where they're going. I understand it. Say that as a generation, we have that. We have that, and we especially like negative news about younger generations. We like reading negative news stories about our younger counterparts because it boosts our own self-esteem. We feel better about ourselves in a world where the older generation is sometimes portrayed as being not as smart or not as strong or out of touch or not as desirable in, name all of the ways. Slow, forgetful. We don't like being described that way. So when we have to live in this youth-centered culture, we're looking for a boost in self-esteem. And we get that, apparently, when we read negative stories about younger people who maybe have a higher status in society than we view ourselves as having. Of course, we're wise and we have a lot of life experience, right? We're fun to be around.
Well, I think so.
We have a lot of positive things going for us.
It reminds me of the quote from Ronald Reagan. There were protests when he was governor of California.
Yeah.
There were protests outside, and all these young hippie types were out there, shaking their fists, holding up signs and all kinds of stuff. And
can I just like one aside? When we say stuff like hippie types, that might be something that makes us sound a little bit older than we want. The hippie types from the olden days.
Times.
Yeah.
Hippie
Go ahead.
types.
Carry on.
Hippie types from the olden times. And what happened was they were just protesting all over the place, right outside the governor's mansion. And the aides came to Ronald Reagan and said, Governor, what should we do? He said, invite them in. Bring them into the office.
Bring the hippies in.
Bring the hippies in. So the hippies come in to Ronald Reagan's office. He's governor of the state of California, and they're just ranting. They are ranting at the governor, and they're saying, you don't understand this. Your generation doesn't understand this. You don't understand about mass communication. You don't understand about jet travel. You don't understand about space travel. Ronald Reagan. Typical Ronald Reagan, paused, looked at all these young people in their vests and their tank tops, their headbands, and said, well, you're probably right. We didn't have those things when we were growing up. We had to invent them for you.
I remember that.
Yeah. Oh, and if you'd like to start every day with Lauren, and I tag along.
And who wouldn't?
I tag along 5 to 9 weekday mornings, so Monday through Friday, 5 to 9. We get to play some great music for you for 4 hours. Start the day every single day, at least weekdays. And all you have to do is go to your app store and get the app for The Light DFW.
Yep.
The Light DFW. And play some great music there. Lots of other names and voices that you may recognize, and we're excited to do it. It's fun to do. So you get it kind of both into the spectrum, which I think is really kind of cool, because in our radio history, we spent a lot of time in music and a whole bunch of time in talk. And so this way you get both. If you like the podcast, and we hope you do, then here we are with the podcast. And if you'd like to do the music thing too, we certainly are there for you every single weekday morning, 5 to 9 on The Light. The Wilder Show podcast. That's it for this time. If you want to send us an email, just email podcast@wildershow.com. You can find us on Instagram. Search Wilder Show Pod, and you'll find us on Instagram, and you'll like it and share it and all that. The Wilder Show podcast drops Tuesdays and Fridays before 6 a.m. Central on Spotify and Apple Podcast, iHeart, Amazon, YouTube. Wherever you get your podcasts, you'll find us, and we do hope that you'll like us and rate us and follow and subscribe. It's really important. So thanks to those who are subscribing at YouTube and elsewhere, and also sharing. So thank you. And Lauren, thank you.
Absolutely.
And we'll see you next time.
Da da da